parle des langues. Speaking honestly, not many people are able to understand what I just said. English is considered a universal language, but is only the mother tongue of approximately 54 countries worldwide. In the United States, it's the primary language spoken, so why should we be taught anything else? Las idiomas son fundamentales para la sociedad. Languages are fundamental to society. They can be a barrier or a door, an obstacle or an experience. Languages and cultures can divide us, but also unite us. Studies have shown that as well as opening more opportunities, learning and becoming fluent in multiple foreign languages has also been proved to improve memory and social skills among youth. According to a study done by neuroscientist Dr. Ellen Bialystok, psychology professor at York University in Toronto, one of the main effects of learning and becoming fluent in a foreign language is that it can sharpen the mind for up to 40 years by improving the executive function of the brain. Another study showed how it can postpone the onset of diseases such as Alzheimer's and dementia by 4.5 years. This data is being taken into account all over the world. In Europe, students as young as 5 years old begin learning a second language, and by the age of 8, many of them move on to a third. A Eurobarometer survey in 2012 established that 54% of Europeans are bilingual, and that number grows every year. In Australia, in 2015, the Prime Minister issued a paper calling for students to be given the opportunity to study one of up to 4 foreign languages. These are only a few examples of worldwide linguistic curriculums. Now, my family is Italian, and having lived in the country for multiple years, I picked up the language. In 5th grade alone, I was studying English, Italian, and French, and by 9th grade, I was also studying Spanish and Latin. When I moved to the United States, having studied these languages helped me in my personal life as well as with my studies. Studying a language such as Latin helped me to understand many things that I wouldn't have understood otherwise. Being bilingual is a challenge that I, as well as many other people, face, but it comes with its advantages. For example, studies have shown that bilingual students are always thinking in both languages, constantly translating on a subconscious level. When studying or taking notes, this can be beneficial because thinking in both languages can help convey a message when it lost for words on one of them. For the longest time, I've wanted to be a writer, and thinking in all my languages is so much easier than limiting myself to just one. At school, many classes require handwritten notes for the topics we cover, and I found that since taking notes in my other languages, my grades have started to go up. So, why isn't linguistic education more emphasized in our school system? Well, on March 23, 2015, the Virginia Department of Education added the seal of biliteracy to seals available to high school students upon receiving their diploma, making it one of only 22 states to do so. The purpose of this seal was to give students the opportunity to show proficiency in a language other than English without having to take the course to its full extent, but not many students know about it. The number of students in grades K through 12 enrolling in foreign language classes grows every year, but schools are no longer equipped for these numbers. Students are no longer satisfied with the typical Spanish and French, especially in a world where the most in-demand languages are ones like Russian, Arabic, Chinese, and Japanese. Now, in Virginia, to graduate high school with an advanced diploma, one must have completed 3 years of one language or 2 years each of 2 languages. While some schools, in particular middle schools, do offer some foreign language classes, these are typically limited to 1 or 2, specifically Spanish or French. However, a survey done by the Linguistic Society in 2009 established that there are 2,909 distinct languages in the world. Now I ask you why, if there's so many languages out there, most of which have a single root such as Latin, Celtic, or Germanic, can we put them on the list or push them to the bottom of the need-to-knows? The Virginia Department of Education should put more emphasis on linguistic education in schools. In doing so, we increase awareness of other countries and preserve culture while breaking down barriers for our students. Many schools list certain languages as options, but because so few students don't know about them, classes don't fill up and are shut down due to lack of participation. While some students have expressed an interest in studying other languages, their requests are denied time after time with the simple excuse that there's not enough room in the school or the budget to add another class. Classes such as Spanish and French fill up quickly because students need this prerequisite to receive the advanced diploma. However, even this incentive is becoming less consequential. With new devices being invented every day that can do the work for us, this tech-savvy generation is ready to hand itself over to devices to do the work for them. But what many of them fail to take into consideration is the percentage of error, but also the boundary it creates. These devices, rather than giving the feeling of speaking to another person, give the feeling of speaking to a machine. Human interaction between people of varying cultures will cease to exist, and learning about them will be a thing of the past. Google will translate your conversation for you so you never have to worry about a thing. The company Indiegogo created Pilot, a sort of Bluetooth headset that translates conversations in real time. Skype will translate your conference call with the right command, and even Google now has an app that allows you to snap a picture so it can translate everything into text. Technology advances every day, which has caused many people, in particular youth, to grow dependent on its presence in their lives. And while this can be beneficial at times, the first time that your phone translates ano instead of año to the wrong person is when you'll realize your problems are beginning. Translating devices and softwares are constantly being updated to fix grammatical errors and update vocabulary to keep up with modern slang. But someone needs to be able to program these. The whole topic of learning languages can come full circle around this one small issue. Someone needs to know the language to program the machines, so that the machines can then know the language for someone else. But as anyone who's ever used Google Translate for an assignment can tell you, these devices and softwares aren't always reliable. Learning to translate is something that anyone can do with enough time and ambition. My passion for languages has pushed me to go even further. I'm currently studying Russian, Romanian, Welsh, and Albanian in addition to the 4 languages that I already speak. It's incredible what you can learn about a person from the languages they speak. Language is one of the most important indicators of who a person is, how they think, how they feel, how they were taught. It acts as a bridge between people that can only be heard if you understand. Some things can't be translated though. You can't translate a poem or you can't translate a song. Well, you could, but it wouldn't sound right. Some of the most important literary works in history were written in foreign languages, specifically Latin or Greek, and then translated. There's a reason we say lost in translation. When you translate something like the Divine Comedy or Zimmerman-Farkas poems, it loses all the emotion and significance of the original pieces. I walked down, giving you my arm, at least 1 million stairs. Doesn't sound right, does it? This is a poem written by Zimmerman-Farkas shortly after his wife Drusilla passed away. Drusilla was legally blind, and even wearing the strongest prescription glasses she could afford, she still needed her husband's help to get around safely. Montale wrote this poem to thank his wife, because even though he showed her the world, she showed him his world. So try this. Ho sceso dannoti braccio al mio non mi